If you've ever walked into a party and immediately calculated how long you need to stay before leaving becomes socially acceptable, this video is for you. If you've ever stood in a group conversation thinking, am I standing weird? Should I be nodding more, less? Oh God, now I'm thinking about nodding. You're in the right place. I'm making this video not because I'm some social butterfly, but because I used to be that person pressed against the wall, taking 8 sips of water, mentally planning my escape. So everything I'm sharing comes from really understanding what it feels like. The truth, you're not bad at this. Here's what nobody tells you about social anxiety. You're not actually bad at socializing. You're just running an overprotective security system that treats every interaction like a potential threat. Your brain is doing something that feels like protection, but it's exhausting you. You go quiet and try to disappear. You study everyone else first to find the correct way to act. You're constantly scanning faces for signs of judgment or boredom. And the worst part, it's not that you have nothing to say. It's that you're terrified one wrong word will make everyone uncomfortable or make you look stupid. But here's the real issue. You're not afraid of socializing. You're afraid of being ignored, misunderstood, or accidentally making things awkward. You think one mistake will get you permanently labeled as that weird person. So let's be clear right now. You don't need to become the most talkative person in the room. You just need to figure out what kind of connection actually feels good to you. 3 questions that change everything. When you're in a social situation, your brain is probably screaming, "What should I say? What do they think of me? Am I doing this right?" That constant questioning disconnects you from what you actually want. Try something different. Next time you're with people, gently ask yourself these 3 things. Who here do I actually feel okay around? Not who's impressive or popular, but who makes you feel a little bit calmer. Who makes you curious? Is there any topic right now where I feel even the tiniest impulse to add something? Maybe someone mentions a show you watched or a problem you've dealt with, and you feel that small spark of, oh, I know about this. Don't dismiss that spark. It matters. Where in this space do I feel most comfortable? Are you more at ease sitting or standing, by the door, or tucked in a corner? These physical comfort signals are trying to tell you something. Most socially anxious people ignore them completely because they're too busy trying to do it right. Start listening to yourself. You can participate without performing. This might sound strange, but you can be part of a social gathering without saying much at all. There are levels to this, and you get to choose your own pace. The quietest level is invisible participation. You're present, you're engaged, but you're not performing. You might nod when someone says something true. You might make brief eye contact. You might smile naturally when something's funny, or lean in slightly when something interests you. These tiny signals say, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm part of this, without requiring you to be on. When it feels right, you can try the 1-sentence contribution. This isn't about dominating the conversation. It's about dropping in one genuine thought when you actually want to. Something like, that makes sense, or what happened after that, or I've experienced something similar. That's it. You're not trying to become a conversationalist. You're just letting yourself exist in the space. And here's something that might relieve a lot of pressure. You don't have to connect with everyone. Socially anxious people often think they need to win over the entire room, but that's not how real friendship works. Find the one person who feels safest to you. Maybe they're gentle or funny in a way that relaxes you, or they actually seem interested when you talk. Focus on that one person. If you can build even a tiny connection with one human, that's complete success. Everyone else can be background noise. You don't need to shine in front of a crowd. You just need to feel okay next to one person. Tiny practices you can actually do. Let me give you 3 small exercises that socially anxious people have told me actually help. Practice 1, the 1-sentence mission. Next time you're in a social situation, give yourself one job. Say one thing you genuinely mean. Not something impressive, not something clever, just one true sentence. It could be, I really like what you said about that, or this is interesting, or even just, I'm mostly here to listen, but I'm enjoying this. If you do this once, you've succeeded completely. That's the whole assignment. Practice 2, the 3-second body check. When you're feeling tense, pause and ask yourself, where in my body am I holding tension right now? Can I drop my shoulders even 5%? Can I slow my breathing just a little? This works because so much of social anxiety lives in your body. When you're physically contracted, everything feels more threatening. When you soften just slightly, conversations become a little easier. Practice 3. Find your safe person. Stop trying to befriend everyone in the room. Just find one person who feels okay. That's your only goal, one person. When you do this, your stress drops by about 80% because you're no longer trying to manage everyone's impression of you. You're just having a moment with someone who doesn't make you anxious. The right social settings make all the difference. Not all social environments are built the same. Most of them aren't designed for people like us, but some are perfect. Activity-based hangouts are your best friend. When you're doing something together, the pressure to perform disappears. Board game nights work beautifully because everyone's focused on the game and conversation just happens naturally around it. Same with going to a movie, visiting a museum, taking a cooking class, or doing an escape room. The activity is the main thing. Socializing is just a bonus that unfolds on its own. You're not there to entertain anyone. Smaller, structured gatherings are also ideal. A dinner with 2 or 3 people feels completely different than a party with 20 strangers. Book clubs with clear discussion topics mean you're never scrambling to fill silence. And one-on-one walks while grabbing coffee are often the most comfortable format for socially anxious people. Walking side by side removes the intensity of constant eye contact, and pauses in conversation feel natural instead of awkward. Finally, look for spaces where being quiet is completely normal. If you join a hobby group around photography, pets, or gaming, nobody expects you to be chatty. Being the listener is a perfectly acceptable role. Or find settings with built-in roles where someone facilitates and you can contribute when ready. Even quiet cafes and co-working spaces can work. You're there, you're present, but nobody's expecting a performance. Your silence is just fine. Why do these settings work? Because they remove the hidden test. In typical social situations, there's an unspoken expectation that you need to prove you're interesting or fun or worth knowing. In these environments, you're just there, existing, contributing in your own way. The pressure evaporates. Check in with yourself after. After any social interaction, instead of replaying every awkward moment, try a gentler approach. Ask yourself, when did I feel most comfortable? Maybe it was while listening to someone's story, or when you were sitting in a specific spot, or during a one-on-one moment versus group chaos. Then ask, was there a moment I wanted to say something? Even if you stayed quiet, notice that impulse. That tells you what topics or people draw you out naturally. Also notice, when did I feel overwhelmed? Was it when someone asked you a direct question? When the group got too large? When conversations moved too fast? These aren't failures, they're useful information about your boundaries. Finally, what could I adjust next time to feel slightly more comfortable? Maybe you stay 5 minutes longer. Maybe you sit closer to that one person you liked. Maybe you let yourself nod more freely. Small shifts, not personality overhauls. You're not trying to become someone else. You're not here to transform into an extrovert. You're building a personal map of what actually feels good to you socially. Maybe you'll realize you're an incredible listener and that's your gift. Maybe you discover you come alive in one-on-one conversations, but group settings drain you completely. Maybe you need social situations to have a clear topic or activity because small talk feels impossible. Maybe you love when someone else leads so you can relax and contribute naturally. Maybe you're someone who prefers saying one meaningful thing rather than filling an hour with chatter. Or maybe intimate gatherings with people who truly know you feel like home, while constantly meeting new people feels exhausting. None of these are flaws. They're not things you need to fix, they're your preferences, your social style. And the better you understand your style, the more you can build a social life that nourishes you instead of draining you. You're not weird for being this way, you're just more sensitive to social dynamics, which often means you're more thoughtful, more careful with people's feelings, more aware. That's not a defect. That's a kind of emotional intelligence, some thoughts to carry with you. Let me leave you with a few things I wish someone had told me earlier. You're not bad at socializing. You're just overly worried about whether everyone else is comfortable. That's called being considerate, not being broken. Social interaction isn't a test with a perfect score. There's no wrong answer that disqualifies you from belonging. You don't need to be fascinating to a crowd, you just need to feel at ease with one person. Socially anxious people aren't people with nothing to say. Often you have so much to say that you're afraid it might come out wrong and hurt someone. That's the opposite of not caring. You're not cold or distant. You're participating in the world through quiet observation, and that's a completely valid way to be present. And here's maybe the most important one. If you went to a social event and didn't say a single word, you didn't fail. You showed up. You were there. That took courage, and that counts. Let's keep talking. I want to hear from you. What's your biggest struggle in social situations? Or better yet, tell me about a time when you actually felt comfortable and safe around people. What made that moment different? Drop it in the comments. Your experience might help someone else realize they're not alone. And if this video helped you even a little bit, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear this. Sometimes just knowing other people feel this way is enough to make it easier. You don't need to fix yourself. You're just learning your own language for connection. And that's more than okay. Thanks for being here.